Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League. From South Boston Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Network's 9th round coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 13. As the schedule crosses the halfway mark, followers of the series are confronted with the unyielding storm of dominance that is Eric Stout. His fans call him Teapot. The race log calls him winner, having done so in 4 out of 8 tries. Add to that the fact that the former champ has been taken out while leading 2 other times only darkens the weather ahead. Fans who long for the drama of competition and who are lost amidst the gloom of Stout that shadows the series in a pessimistic future search for some kind of light, no matter how faint, that offers a sliver of hope. And that dim beacon can be found in the likes of one Rex Hoyle. Though able to win, and indeed Rex has 5 on his career resume, which ranks him 8th all time, it is Hoyle's consistency that fuels the flame that slices the fog. With a 42% career average for top 5s and an even greater 62% for top 10s, Hoyle has done nothing this season except finish each race inside the top 10. He's raced at South Boston twice before, with finishes, no surprise here, of 2nd and 7th. In a season where the fickle finger of fate has pointed at random drivers as if plagued by Parkinson's, the consistency that Hoyle is known for might just be the path that leads him past Stout in the points standings and to a championship. So pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for some simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way from the state that gave us racing, just the best racing in the world here. From Old Dominion, a warm hello and welcome on this Thursday night, March 6, 2025. The institution, J.R. Shepard, joins yours truly, Deuce on high up the VGN broadcast booth, speaking our words I've used. Replay Brian Seneca, turn the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, J.R., what do you know about this place?
Well, Soup, tonight is going to be tough for these drivers. South Boston is a 0.4 of a mile oval with some long sweeping corners. That means that tonight these drivers will be turning left more than anything. That alone can be fatiguing to the drivers, but more importantly, it can be mentally exhausting because while you're constantly turning left, you're going to be nose to tail with your competitors out there. Also, these modifieds, they make a lot of grip around a place like this, and while the bottom is normally the preferred groove, if cars get side by side, you will see that top side of the track start to prevail. But Soup, this place can be very narrow, especially on the straights. If we see a wreck tonight coming out of the corners, it might just collect and end a lot of these drivers' night.
You know, I spent a lot of time racing on this one, but it's not as narrow in the Legends that I usually race in, so we'll see if these bigger cars have an issue that JR just talked about. Let's quickly take a look at the points. And remember, this rule package allows for drivers to drop their single worst results, so the graphics reflects each driver's best. Well, it would be their best 7 out of 8 outcomes, with the worst result being saved in what we like to call the driver's pocket. And thanks to pocket points, all but 6 drivers have been able to avoid taking a 0 so far. You know, Eric Stout, well, he's up in front, and he's won half of the races he's entered so far. He is the man to beat. We talked a lot in the opener about Rex Hoyle. He jumps up 4 rungs on the points ladder, trying to keep Stout honest. A second last time out for Kenny Allen. That was his best season result. Defending champ Jeff Aho, well, he holds station in 4th. Bradley Steffen, he has a win this season. Fred Leclerc drops a rung. Another driver with a season win is Brian Bianchi. Fred Leclerc, well, he leads all drivers with collected incident points, and that's something you really don't want to do. Then you have those final 2 drivers there, Brandon Feeney with a win, and A.J. Hamill rounding out the overlay. Glad you are with us here tonight. What's the rule package, JR? How's it work? How far do we go?
Well, Soup, tonight we're going to be going 100 laps around this place. The leader gets lane choice both on the initial start and on restarts here, but we only go when the green flag drops. The leader does not have control until that green flag comes out, so timing is everything. We do have lucky dogs here. We do get 1 extra set of tires tonight, but I do not think we're going to see it. I think track position is going to be key to staying up front and winning this race. There are no fast repairs, but we do get not 1, but 3 green light checkered attempt. So can get wild at a place like this late in the race.
Be here for a while. Of course, we give you those race details every race because VGN is always picking up new viewers. We're glad to have Red Light Racing on the broadcast schedule. And with that comes new viewers. And if you're like short track racing, well, we got a lot of it here on VGN. We also cover several other series. All right. Let's go ahead and set the grid for you now. This is based on qualifying. We have 20 drivers that are gridding up. And of course, we got to talk about our sponsor. And I will tell you that right now as soon as I find my sponsor, because I get such complaints about forgetting this. And of course, our sponsor is brought to you by, well, you know who it is? It's you'll see it right there, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now because I'm a professional and it's not on my script. How can the sponsor? It's who is it? Tell me who it is there, director. Oh, you can see right there, racedayscd.com. They are the best race day, the best short track information you can find in New England. There, I did it off the top of my head. All right, got to hustle down. Eric Stout and Rex Hoyle sit 1-2.
Yeah, row 2, third and fourth place, AJ Hamill and Brian Bianchi.
Hey, Scott Negus will up the order. He's going to be starting inside of Jeff Aho.
Seventh place got Chad Alcaraz and Rich Blake in eighth.
Rob Higgins and Ken Allen fill up row 5.
Got Bradley Steffen rolling off in 11th place. Brian Neff, he will be 12th.
TJ Henson and Granny Hips, Joshua Buckley go in the Baker's dozen position and 14th.
15th, Aiden Alvecchion, and 16th, Chris Oliver.
17th, 18th. Oh, Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen back there, and Fred Leclerc outside of him.
Yeah, last row we got Chris Hazlip in 19th, 20th place, Bruce Pearson.
Hey, we're going to get our commentator photos. We got all the business done before they go green. Gather at the chicken steak covering on the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it is the two drivers who sit 1-2 in the points up front. Eric Stout, Rex Hoyle. Hoyle on the outside, trying to get down in there. AJ Hamill says, no, I think you have to wait a little bit, as Hoyle is stuck to the outside. Hoyle very consistent. He's not going to force the issue. He knows he has plenty of laps to get it done. Outside does look competitive. No room for the 54 to get down. And there's the double nickel of Scott Negus now. The inside row is working.
Yeah, it absolutely is working early here, but you're going to see that outside prevail. Actually, we have a caution out on the speedway somewhere. There we go.
All right, this one was a checkup up front, then there was some accordion effects a little farther back. We'll see where it starts. Looks like it starts with the number 21, Jeff Aho, our points leader, our defending champion. A little bit of help from the 40.
Yeah, it's hard early in these cars. We didn't talk about it a whole lot, but these modifieds, when they have cold tire pressures, these cars will move around a lot, particularly on corner entry, and it looked like the 40 car there just got in a little bit too hard, Rob Higgins, and it slid up the track. Once it does that at a place like this, there's not much you can do to get those front tires to regain that grip.
Looking through our list of drivers that we might be able to talk to, I was looking for Rex Hoyle. I guess we're not going to be able to find him. Let's go ahead. Can we get AJ Hamill? Is he there? Direct, we'll find somebody for Hamill. Stout, who can we pull up? Look. Oh, we're going to pull up Rex Hoyle here. Nope, we're not going to. Rex doesn't want to talk to us. Well, they're working their way around. A little bit unorganized here today. I've done this before. Luckily, I got a pro sitting next to me, J.R. Shepard. If you were ever on the Poseidon and it turned over, I'm telling you, the man I would want next to me, leading me to safety, J.R. Shepard.
I don't know, Snoop. I may leave you behind. I won't wait too long in a situation like that.
That wouldn't surprise me. And you have no tolerance for lap traffic on there either. All right, we're going to get going here. Working lap number 60 hours. All right. Eric Stout in control. He's got his teammate AJ Hamill to the outside of him now. Probably the best result there for that yellow flag going to go to Rex Hoyle, who gets put on the inside. He was really pinned to the outside, so he's got Negus to the outside, the 55 trying to make it work. Look at the outside line work here. Doing a pretty good job early.
It can definitely work, and that outside line is going to get stronger as we go into this race. The one thing that I saw Rex Hoyle doing early in the race when he was on that outside is being very careful, because these cars do move around. They are very slick. It's like being on ice, especially from the center of the corner off early. And you can see these drivers kind of fighting that. The cars are moving around quite a bit right now.
They get it done. I want to give a tip of the hat to Bradley Steffen. He is up several positions, one of our big movers back there in the 89 machine, currently racing in 7th. Just ahead of him, the 17 of Chad Alcaraz. JR, I noticed some of the drivers, they drift up a little bit. Is keeping the car down, is that an issue, or is it just feeling out the lines?
A lot of it has to do with just South Boston in general, but this Team 53 setup is very, very neutral. But because when you turn that wheel more, it makes the car want to get free, and actually the rear end really kicks out. So I think rear tire wear, we see Jeff Aho getting loose coming off the corner. Rear tire wear is going to be a big deal here, keeping that rear tire cool. And that's just what we're seeing. These drivers do not want to keep that car pinned on the bottom because it gets extremely free from the center of the corner off.
That is Jeff Neff and Brian Neff and Jeff Aho in a battle. Now we want to talk about Aho because he was one of the favorites coming into this season. He's had a hard time getting any momentum, and certainly tonight's not going to help him a little bit. But he's going to keep out there. That's one of Aho's, that's kind of the nature that he is. No matter how sour the night goes, he's always out there trying to find a little sweetness in it.
Yeah, and this track, Soup, it's definitely a track you can come from behind. You can make passes and come to the front, particularly after you get about 20 laps into the run. That's when we'll see some drivers move around. TJ Henson getting it very loose off of turn 2, and that's something that we haven't talked about. Turn 2 is one of those corners where the car really wants to push out toward that outside wall. The driver wants to put more wheel into it, and like we talked about, these modifieds, they can get very loose on corner exit.
Boy, that is where the action is. Joshua Buckley got underneath Henson. Henson's struggling right now, and he's under attack from the 81 of Ken Allen. Ken Allen's been having a great season with some good results in there, and he's under also attack by Aldin Alvecchian in the 271. Good racing going on a little farther back. Pretty quiet up front.
It absolutely is, and all this checking up that we've seen, that's helping Aho, because he's being able to catch this pack quicker than what he would have to do if he had to chase him down himself, and he's already starting to make those moves. We will see him start to move forward, but the bad thing is, if this thing goes green, 100 laps around South Boston does not take very long, so if it stays green, he's not going to have a whole lot of time to get to the front.
You can see on the tower, everyone pretty much in single file. About a car length gap between all the drivers, but yeah, this one is really shaking out like we could go green for a while. We got 20 laps in.
Yeah, and you can see right now, TJ Henson right there through turns 1 and 2, he's pushing up just a little bit, and a lot of that is by corner entry speed, just carrying a little bit too much speed on corner entry. The car will move up. He carried a little bit more in 3 and 4 there as well and moved up, so the 81 there of Ken Allen, he's looking to move forward, and if he keeps it up, he's going to be able to make this pass.
Drivers who are talent challenged like myself, it's so hard for us to drive it in calmly into the corner when we're being attacked from behind. It seems like the only way for us to get away is to take it in even harder, and it just slows us down even more. Good racing going on back there. Alvecchian looking on as well.
And we just saw on the screen TJ Henson, he touched the apron just a little bit on the exit of turn 4, and that really sent the car around. So that really does do an off-camber type situation to the setup when you do that, and a place like this will make the car really loose. You can use it to your advantage on corner entry. I'm not seeing a whole lot of the drivers do it, but you can clip that apron on corner entry to help the car rotate, but typically you do not want to do it on corner exit.
Drivers just putting in the laps right now. Let me set the table for you a little bit. We got 3 drivers up in front that look like they have the class of the field. Eric Stout, AJ Hamill, and Scott Negus. They're racing 1, 2, 3, and they are starting to pull away. Rex Hoyle, maybe speed is not his forte. We talked about it in the opening. He's all about consistency. He started in 2nd position, racing in 4th right now. Coming on is Brian Bianchi. I want to go back all the way, talk about the driver that's really been moving. Joshua Buckley, he's our big mover so far. Up 5 spots, racing in 9th position.
Yeah, and you can see he's just ahead of TJ Henson there, and then back up front, looks like AJ Hamill, he's starting to close in a little bit on Eric Stout. And Hamill, you know, we know that these two guys, they're teammates. They race each other extremely clean, but they do go after one another, so they will take advantage of one another if the opportunity opens up, and Hamill's going to get to the inside going into turn one here.
We talked about the randomness of the fickle finger of fate. Eric Stout has been turned 2 times while leading, so even though he's out in front, he's a long way from safe if history will repeat itself.
Yeah, he is for sure, and you can see there he does not want to give Hamill a lot of room, because obviously the higher up the track you go, the worse that grip level gets, but he was giving room to make sure that there was not contact, and that's very smart. When you've got a big lead like he has, there's no need to really push the issue.
Driver in third we were watching is that's Elvecchio there looking in the 271, taking a peek, and we got ourselves a caution, and it was Elvecchio. We saw him take a peek, and he did a little more than peek.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. Ken Allen had just made the pass on the 62 of Henson. Elvecchio, he sees the opportunity there going into turn one, wants to get to the inside, and basically 2 cars just coming together. Henson trying to get down, Elvecchio trying to make that pass.
And Henson really wasn't feeling. He'd been struggling the whole time. We've seen him working hard to keep pace right now. So he falls all the way back, still on the lead lap, goes to 19th. He's going to come in. Since you're all the way in the very back, might as well come in and get some fresh tires.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is I actually saw Jeff Aho there on pit road, and it looked like he was also getting some fresh tires, at least right side tires. So that could come into play. Tire wear is not a huge deal. Tire temperature is. And we talked about it early on, that right rear tire temp getting extremely hot. That's going to make the car hard to drive as we get late in the race. So Aho having that fresh rubber could pay dividends here.
Let's bring in the number 12, our points leader and our race leader right now. Teapot, Eric Stout. Dial him up. Teapot and Soup up here in the booth. Usually, when there's traffic, you want to be out front. That's usually the safest place to be. But the way this season has been going for you, maybe the lead is not the place to be.
I got a little more faith in my teammate here. Hopefully we can both keep it straight here. I'm going to try something a little different here on the restart and take the top, seem to be able to get a good run here. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll let you concentrate on it. Go get it.
See you later.
Get that out of the way just in time, and there you see Teapot up on the high side, going to try something a little bit different. Your thoughts, JR?
Oh, we'll see how this works. Like I talked about early in the race, the inside's usually the preferred groove. It moves up, so this could be a good spot for him, but AJ Hamill gets a great restart there and is actually able to pull ahead and has the lead going into turn 3 here.
When you have a nice cushion in the points, I guess it lets you experiment a little bit without it being so consequential. Negus still watching on from third. Negus is fast. We know him on VGM from a lot of racing in the Bootleg Racing League. He's a crossover driver and showing what he has right now, racing up front with some of the big names.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a couple of laps in after this restart, those top 3, they've already broken away from the rest of this pack. But Brian Bianchi there in the 14, he has plenty of speed each and every week. He's trying to close back in.
Yeah, the excitement and maybe the caution flag is back here a little bit farther. We're looking at a driver that's struggling a bit. There's the 81 of Ken Allen.
Yeah, and Ken's had a good couple of last weeks as far as races in different series. So, yeah, he's definitely looking to continue moving forward right now.
Including, if my memory serves, a really good result on the twisty course there at Watkins Glen. Aiden Elvecchio up 5 spots along with Joshua Buckley. They raced in 9th and 10th respectively. Those guys are working their way through the field. Other than the top 3 who clearly seem to have it figured out, hard to tell who's quick. Brian Bianchi has run down the front 3 though. He's brought along with him his group.
Yeah, and you know, Brian, you know, I talked about him clearly having speed each and every week, but he's kind of a driver that's extremely smart during the race and doesn't try to show all of that speed until it starts to count at the end of the race. That's when he really starts to bring on the heat to those leaders, and he's slowly doing that as we're reaching this halfway point, but I expect him to pick it up even further as we go into the second half here.
Kenny Allen gets the best of Rob Higgins. Higgins in the 40, of course, was involved in the incident a little earlier on, maybe a little bit gun shy right now, doesn't want to pick up another one.
Yeah, and watching on the screen here, we see Luke Logan Allen in that 6 car inside of Brian Neff going around this place. And, you know, Luke's a younger driver. Oh, something happened to Neff here. Yeah, he's definitely got some right front suspension damage. He gets it back going, but he scrubbed that wall pretty hard there.
Great job from Bruce Pearson. Double Deuce Bruce was running the outside, and Neff lost all the momentum. The 22 ran him down. Closing speed was incredible. And then the 22, look at 22 just ducks down and gets out of the way. Nice job there.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how hard that is to do in the SK Modifieds, because we talk about it week after week of how hard it is to see out of these vehicles. That air cleaner gets in the way, and that air cleaner was right there where the 60 car was in the windshield of Bruce Pearson, so he did a great job to avoid that.
Well, let's give a tip of the hat here to the guys running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Brian Bianchi, Bradley Steffen, and Rex Hoyle. They were able to gather up the front 3.
Yeah, and I just saw on the screen there, Bianchi going into turn 1. He's starting to arc it in a little bit more than what we're seeing some of these leaders do. And why I say that that's important is because that's going to help keep that right front tire cooler. He's keeping it lower coming off of turn 2, which the car naturally wants to push out. He's going to have better front grip as we get deeper into this run than those guys that are ahead of him.
Right on board with Bianchi, who has a race win. You know, I wonder if the pace from A.J. Hamill might be a little more conservative, knowing that he has his buddy behind him, Eric Stout, and he really doesn't need to work so hard. And I think Stout might have to worry about Negus right now, who's starting to think about, has visions of second.
Yeah, absolutely. Hamill could be just controlling this race. This is a place that is very fun to control the race because it is difficult to pass. It can be done, but it's difficult to do, and you can only run as fast as what you need to do here in order to save your tires. And that's one of the things I enjoy doing at a place like this, is just taking care of your tires, keeping about a 1 to 2 car length lead between you and that car behind.
And Hamill could probably breathe a little easier knowing he has his teammate behind him. Stout doesn't have that same luxury. Scott Negus would like to pick up that spot, and he starts to run. There's a nice little side-by-side battle a little farther back.
Yeah, you can see Luke Logan in that 6 car. He's moving around a little bit. That shows you how free these cars are. But he's doing a fantastic job, and I started to talk about it earlier. He's one of the younger drivers in this series. He has a ton of talent. We see it each and every week.
It's only going to get better. Hey, look at the outside line works there on that one is Rich Blake. We don't get to see much from Rich. Having a good run right now. Started in 8th, racing in 11th, stuck on the outside with Kid Lemon Lime underneath him.
Yeah, and the one thing I saw from that shot right there, just above where Rich Blake is running, you're starting to see a lot of marbles build up on that high side, and South Boston is known for being extremely slick once those marbles start to build up. Now, you can still make that outside line work. It's still a great place to be as we get late into this race, but if you get just above where Rich is running there, you will get into the marbles, and the car will go straight on corner exit. You will end up in the wall here.
Working lap number 61. Oh, Alvecchion coming down pit lane. Not sure what happened to Aiden. He was having a nice run. It made up several spots. He's going to bring it back out. Started with 20. 18 still on the lead lap. Make it 17 as Alvecchion's going to go a lap down.
Yeah, and the one thing that we didn't catch, I noticed it right before we went green, Jeff Aho, we talked about him coming in and taking tires, expected to see him moving forward, but he actually had a connection issue during that caution, so now he's strapped 2 laps down out there. Going to be a tough night for him, especially with Alvecchion now being the lucky dog recipient there if the caution comes out.
Done a couple races with Aho, or a couple series at least. I know he had connection issues in the race that you were in there, the iRock race that he ran for yesteryear racing. So that's too bad. iRacing's form of mechanical difficulties. Another side-by-side battle going on. Is that Kid Lemon Lime finally getting the best of yeah, boy, they've been working at it there. Luke Logan Allen and Rich Blake have been really going at it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that just shows where persistence can pay off. You don't have to be super aggressive. You don't have to try to drive the car in hard to make a pass. If you're just persistent and you hit your marks lap after lap, you can make these passes. Sometimes it's all about just wearing down that driver you're trying to make the pass on.
Okay, we've crossed the 2/3 mark. I think it's time to take our attention up front. A.J. Hamill has led the last 34 laps. Eric Stout led the first 33. Then there may be the hungriest of all the drivers is Scott Negus back there.
Yeah, and Soup, as you see on board with A.J. Hamill looking out the front, we can see the back of the pack. He is catching this pack. Those cars are starting to struggle with grip, and this will be very interesting because you see Brian Neff, he's being very respectful and getting out of the way of these leaders, but some of these other guys, they're going to say, hey, I'm racing for position, I'm going to keep running hard, and it could end up being a situation where the leader gets himself kind of boxed in or in a bad spot, and second place, Eric Stout, could take advantage.
That car up ahead, I'm going to call it blue, maybe it's purple, I don't know what it is, the 93, that is Chris Hazlip. Hazlip having a he's consistent, he's here every week, not racing with a whole lot of pace, but putting in the laps. For a long time he was leading all drivers in laps completed, even though he's well down the points order. And let's see the number 93 now, he's going to leave enough room to let the guys go underneath, but it's all about corner exit. There's one, there's two, they get it done. Oh man, it's scary to get up there.
It definitely is, and you touched on it big time there, Soup. It's all about the corner exit, so when you're making passes on those lap vehicles or vehicles you're putting a lap down, it's all about clearing them before that corner exit or you can lose a ton of speed.
And as an example, as JR was talking about it, it happened to Scott Negus. He was racing in third, he could not clear the 93, lost the momentum. Bianchi got underneath them, Stefan got underneath them, and here comes, well, Rex Hoyle doing what Rex Hoyle does.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what can happen. It does not take much. These SK Modifieds, they are momentum type race cars. If you lose the momentum on corner exit where you're supposed to be gaining speed, it hurts dramatically, and we just saw it there with Scott Negus.
Get that sorted out. Again, we spent a lot of time talking about Rex Hoyle. I just don't see how anyone's going to, when you finish those consistent finishes like that, I don't know if he has enough points to catch Stout, but boy, he looks pretty strong in second right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a frustrating season for Rex.
Because,
it is. Yeah, because you're so consistent, you're doing great things, but there's somebody that's just dominating, so that driver's going to have issues for you to catch up, unfortunately.
There's the 54 of Hoyle racing in fifth. And now Vecchion practicing making pit stops. All right, let's go up front. On him, tighter than a scuba suit on a fat man, is Eric Stout on A.J. Hamill, the teammates. And Stout's beginning to look for a spot here. He's got 20 laps to go. You know what time it is now as they come around. Working through here, and it's what we like to say, time to boogie, and there it is, Stout trying to find his way.
Yeah, Hamill's having to try to push right now just to open up a little bit of a lead. So when they got that lap traffic, when they encountered that, what it did is it separated them from the rest of the pack. They have almost a 1.5 second lead back to third place. And what that allows Eric Stout to do is move around and search for grip and be able to be aggressive. He does not have to worry about being passed by somebody from behind. He can just go after the leader here, and that's what he's been doing these last about 10 to 12 laps here.
You know, when we started the race, it would not have surprised me to see on the screen at the same time Jeff Aho and AJ Hamill and Eric Stout. It's just not in this dynamic here, as Aho is really struggling right now as he's about to go yet another lap down, and the defending champ gets out of the way.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Aho because, you know, like you said, he's the defending champ. You expect him to be up front each and every week, but he's had so much bad luck in the opening rounds of this season, and I feel bad for him because I know what that's like.
You know, the leaders are coming, and they've been working their way through lap traffic, but let me tell you something right now. There's a Hornet's nest in front of them. TJ Henson, who's been really struggling to keep the car going straight, he's up there. Fred Leclerc is also in the mix of the 71, and Rich Blake. And Pearson as well, all battling for the last spot on the lead lap. Here come the leaders. And while that's going on, Stout looks to the inside.
Yeah, they're side by side. Stout was able to make that run, but Hamill's been able to hold him off, and that outside lane late in this race is extremely good, but you have to hit your marks on corner entry to make it pay off, and so far Hamill has been able to do that.
They get underneath Double Deuce. The 18's going to be pinned down. He clears him. He doesn't take it all the way up. Stout not able to get a wide exit out of the corner. Traffic up ahead now. 3 cars battling position, Leclerc, Oliver, and Blake.
Yeah, and right now, Stout definitely seems to be the car that has the speed, but it is hard to pass here, especially if you get trapped as the inside car. So he's trying to be methodical about it. He's trying to use the traffic as best he can, but so far, Hamill's been able to play it exactly the way he needs to.
Pretty good pace from the... Oh, we got a caution. That's going to change things up, and it is Aiden Alvecchion. He's really been struggling, and he's going to call it a night.
Go look at a replay here. Alvecchion, he comes up on Luke Logan Allen, and he's running that higher line through 3 and 4, and yeah, it looked like he just tried to turn the car down through the center of the corner, and the car did not like it. We talked about it a little bit earlier, that right rear tire temperature getting extremely hot over the long run. You try to do that in the long run, and the car will come around on you.
Well, that's going to change things up. We're not going to bother the drivers here as we are so close to the end. We're not going to worry them with an interview. Big names up front: Hamill, Stout, Bianchi, Stefan.
Yeah, and Soup, you know, we're looking at some of these cars coming in and pit, so this is a great time to come in and get that set of tires, or at least that right side set of tires. If you're a driver that's in the back of the pack, you've not been able to make up a whole lot of ground, or the race is just not going your way, come in and get those tires. You're going to have a lot more grip than these other drivers during this short run.
This is our 9th race, which means 8 have been in the books. And in the top 4 drivers, you have 7 of the 8 wins this season. AJ Hamill has 1. Eric Stout, of course, has 4 of them. Bianchi was able to vulture 1, as did Brian Stefan. Feeney, the only previous winner, not here tonight. Okay, well, this is interesting. Eric Stout took the outside a little earlier, maybe just to get a feel for what it's like out there. I guess we are going to be able to get this in before a green-white checker. We'll be going green, working lap number 96 when they start to race at 8.
Yeah, so this is all going to be about that restart. If Hamill gets a good jump, he will be fine, but if Stout gets to the outside through 1 and 2, it could be dangerous for him.
Or Stout will want to clear Bianchi as well. If Bianchi can get a good jump, then that's even more good news for AJ Hamill. Okay, here we go. Leader is in control, and they get it going. They work down the back now through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Hamill was in a great spot going into turn 3 there, but he did not clear Stout. Stout's going to have the momentum going into turn 1, and I'm afraid he's going to carry it on the high side here.
Stout's making it work for the first lap. They come around, it's going to be working lap number 98. Stout with a little bit of advantage. He's going to get scored with leading the race. He doesn't need to finish the pass. He just needs to be first across the line.
Yeah, exactly right. And you see these two, they are pushing hard. They're trying to be respectful, but these cars are moving around. They have old tires for gold, and here he goes around.
Welcome to the Red Light Racing League, where the leader gets spun more often than not. It has happened again.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of this. I think, these drivers, they were side by side going into turn. See, I think we're going into turn 1 here. He just slides up just a little bit too much going into the corner. Stout was leaving him room, but these cars, after they've had this many laps on the tires, with the tire temps the way they are, the car just does not want to hug the bottom of the track through 1 and 2. And we just saw contact there. It's unfortunate because he was having such a great race, AJ was.
They are on lap 100 right now. I'm correct that this is not the checker flag coming around. We're going to get the green-white checker. Is that your take, JR?
Yes, I believe we are going to get a green-white checker here, and that's dangerous because we do get up to 3 in this league, so we could see more action coming on this next restart.
Eric Stout's got to be thinking, yeah, I got together with the leader and he spun, but the racing gods owed me a few of those. Getting the wave around is the 52 of Chris Oliver. He'll be the 14th driver now on the lead lap.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch on this restart. It'll be interesting to see where Stout chooses to restart if he goes back to that outside like he did before, because that contact with Hamill, that could have very well spun both of those drivers around. At least the driver on the outside, and it didn't. But this time, Stout's going to be racing with some guys he's not raced with tonight so far. So it's a little bit of not knowing what to expect here.
Well, Bradley Steffen's going to get the spot on the outside as Stout chooses the inside. Niga's outside of row 2. Bianchi, who's already vultured a win, has put himself in a position to go ahead and do that one more time as Stout and Steffen get together. All right. Pace car pulls in. Green, white, checkered here at South Boston. Great start from both.
And they are side by side going through 1 and 2. It looks like Steffen's going to have a huge run coming off of turn 2. He's going to be able to carry that into 3. Stout's trying to move him up the track a little bit, and I think it's going to work this time.
And it looked like Stout gets there looking for series race win number 5. Nice momentum from Steffen on the outside, but he's going to run out of real estate. Negas looks like he's going to be able to secure 3rd position, as Brian Bianchi will have to settle for 4th. That was a nice little 2-lap sprint there, and well, it's Teapot again as he picks up the 5th win of the season. And just to finish up a few stories, Rex Hoyle does what we thought he would do. Another top 10 for Rex Hoyle. 13 cars on the lead lap. A great run from Joshua Buckley, who was up 7 spots. Fred Leclerc picked up 9. The racing is over here at South Boston. Our broadcast is not. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. Welcome back to South Boston Speedway and VGN's 9th round coverage of the 13th edition of the Red Light Racing League Skitter Creek SK Modified Series. You know, I was on vacation about a week ago, and I was going out to Boston, ran into an ex-girlfriend, and she came up to me, and she said, "Soup, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" She said, "Well, I moved here." I said, "Do you like it?" She said, "Well, yes, I do. The only problem is I don't know how to find out about short track news." And I told her what you need to do is go to racedaycd.com because they are the most comprehensive site for short track racing news in New England. She said, "Thank you very much, Soup, and I'll see you again in another 30 years. With that said, let's go ahead and run down the finishing order now. There were 20 drivers that took the grid. 13 of them finished on the 11 of them finished on the lead lap. Let me correct myself. 13 finished on the lead lap. Eric Stout picks up his 5th win of the season, starting on the pole. Didn't go wire to wire, led 40 laps, but it is his 5th win. Bradley Steffen finishes in 2nd. Scott Negus and Brian Bianchi will go 3rd and 4th. Ken Allen having another good finish. The man we talked about in the opener says 2nd in the points, and he does what he does. 6th spot for Rex Hoyle. Joshua Buckley, nice job from his. He picked up 7 spots to come home in his position in 7th. Rob Higgins in 8th. Fred Leclerc, good run, 9 positions made up. Started at 18th, cut that in half. Rounding out your top 10. We didn't get to see much of him racing, but he was fun to watch when he was on screen. Rich Blake. JR?
Yeah, 11th place goes to Chad Alcaraz tonight. Bruce Pearson, he made up a lot of ground tonight. He comes home in 12th. Chris Oliver, 13th. Luke Logan Allen, he'll come home in 14th. He's the first car that went a lap down tonight. TJ Henson, he'll be 15th place. Jeff Aho, we saw him having some troubles there in the race multiple times. He comes home in 16th place. Chris Hazlett, 17th place. AJ Hamill, we saw him lead a lot of the race here tonight, not getting the finish he wants. He comes home in 18th place. Brian Neff, 19th, and Aiden Alvecchion, he will round out the field in 20th.
With that said, let's dial up our race winner, points leader, former champion, Eric Stout. We dial him up to car number 12. Eric, congratulations on the win. Got together with your teammates at the end.
Yeah, I didn't go look at the replay. I don't know exactly what happened, if I got a little pinchy or not. I just, the car is like loose, and I felt like I was dirt tracking it, like, through that high line, and I'm trying to hold my line. I'm trying to set up a run, and I'm trying to give him space. And I think, just 2 guys fighting hard. I'm certain that he's not going to be super thrilled. I feel bad. That's, you never want to do that. I actually was just saying to the guys, the 25 laps or so leading up to the caution that set up that sort of incident with me and AJ, I felt like I was better than him there, but I didn't want to run through him. I didn't, was obviously trying not to wreck him or do anything stupid and ruin both our nights. So I obviously, like, I'll take the win, but I'm bummed that it took away a 1-2 finish for me and AJ.
You'll take the win. You're disappointed. It takes away a 1-2 finish. Now, give me the honest answer. You're not the politically correct answer. When you're battling up there for the lead, and it was Hamill that got the worst of it, did you actually think to yourself, the racing gods owed me one? Because if I could take it out again while racing for the lead, did it cross your mind?
It didn't until you just said it, but like, so if you think about it, like, I was kind of garbage at Langley. I had spun Josh that night. My car had damage, and I ended up 3rd. So, that's a night where I deserve better than I got. But, like you said, there's been a few other incidents. So no, that was not the first thought that crossed my mind. There's still a lot of racing left. So a lot of time for the spirits to, cast the spell or whatever. But, regardless of the bad outcome for AJ tonight, clearly, like, we put in a ton of work again. Had 2 really strong qualifying efforts. He was actually better than me, like, all week. So I was chasing him for a change. So happy that we ran up front. Happy for AJ to show what kind of skill and speed he's got, and yeah, just kind of, it stinks. So
got it. All right, we're going to get you a new feature here. We'll get you out of here on this one since we interview you so much and you've been dominating these podium interviews. The producers have come up with a new segment. We're calling it Get to Know Teapot. So here we go. One question for you. All right. Favorite way for Teapot to eat an orange?
Wow. As juice. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. In an old fashioned.
I've been answering that question for many a year. That's the first one I got. Well done. We'll see you down the road, Teapot. Well done.
See you guys. Have a good night.
All right. With that said, JR's ran up with our guy who finished second.
Absolutely. Hey, Bradley, congratulations on the second place run there. Man, you were one of the biggest movers in this race. I think you moved up 9 spots tonight. Tell us how difficult these cars were to drive around South Boston. Looked like there was a lot of movement from the cars.
Yeah, 9 spots. Holy moly. Yeah, it wasn't easy. The track was just loose. I don't know what it was. Just even in practice, I had some speed, but the car was just not hooked up at all. You really had to feather the throttle and just be on your game. You know, I got loose a couple times. I got scared once, but it was a battle. Just tried to follow the people in front of me because you know, they're not slow. No one's slow in here. Everyone's pretty quick, even times all around. But just trying to minimize mistakes. Just follow them guys, and hopefully they make mistakes. And it happened a couple times. We got lucky on the cautions and didn't get involved in anything, which is great. And just made our way up here. I'm pretty happy about it. Kind of surprised, but it was not easy.
No, it did not look easy. I want to ask you, came into this race tied for 4th place in points. I think with the way things shake out here tonight with that 2nd place run, you're going to come away 2nd place in the standings. How good does that feel, and do you think you can make up any ground on Eric Stout?
It feels good. I know I had that bad race last week, and it brought us back down to 4th. It's like, oh man, that stinks. But yeah, real happy about tonight. That's what I was telling Eric, just in a booth there, just me and him talking. It's like, I just want to minimize points again, but dude, there's no way. I don't think I'm gonna catch him. He keeps winning. I don't know. I just gotta hope and pray he's got a bad race or two coming up.
Absolutely. Hey, before I let you go tonight, I want to ask you about next week. We're going to Southern National. That's a pretty tough track. Going extra 25 laps. What are your thoughts going into there?
I actually like that place a lot because I'm from Wisconsin. I've raced at Slinger Speedway in real life, so it's kind of like that in a way. It's really high banked. Feel good about that, but I'm sure everyone else is going to be just as quick, so it's going to be a crapshoot. Who knows?
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing it, man. Hopefully next week we'll get to talk to you once again out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. That's what we can all hope for.
All right, guys. That was Bradley Steffen. He's our 2nd place finisher here tonight. With that, Soup, who have you got?
I have Scott Negus, who came home in 3rd. Scott, we get a lot of crossover viewers from the Bootleg Racing League here on the Virtual Grip Network come over to see how the BRLers do. And, of course, we got Chris Hazlip and Bruce Pearson and yourself, who are regular BRLers. Haven't had a lot to shout about, but tonight you were racing up front, then you lost momentum and you had to work your way back to 3rd.
Buddy, I had the biggest toe cramp you could ever imagine in your life in my gas pedal foot.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I think it was the 89 and the 14. Chris Haysworth, the 93 car was on the outside. We were lapping him, and I was going on the inside, and I got this toe cramp that just about brought tears to my eyes, and I ended up 3 wide, and I didn't know what to do, so I had to back off and fall back to 6 for a while.
And that's funny because we were watching and we were thinking traffic's going to be an issue, and it did not play well for you, but you were able to recover. Get yourself a 3rd position. Didn't have anything for the 2 guys up front. How you were wasting them. They just didn't give you an opportunity.
No, I ran out of laps, Soup. I was actually doing my BRL training. I was saving tires, so I was trying to save it for the end. I thought I had something for them.
Well, it was fun to watch it. Congratulations on the finish. What's the weather like in Nova Scotia?
Tonight it is raining like you would not believe.
All right. Well, at least it's not snowing. Good luck. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, buddy.
Scott Negus, finishing 3rd. That's going to do it here for for our broadcast, but we're not quite done yet. We'll be back again next week. You heard JR talk about it. We're going to Southern National. That'll be fun. Every Thursday night at this very time slot. Before then, the bootleg racing league that we just talked about, we're going to South Boston. Well, wait a minute. Now, do I need to fly? No, I can just stay here. VGN will just pay for my hotel. I'll just stay here because we have 2 races coming up in South Boston next week. So I'll get to know the little bit Virginia countryside. You won't have to go anywhere. You just figure out, we stream it cyberspace to your place here on the Virtual Grip Network. So those broadcasts, future and past ones, all a production of VGN. With that said, until next time, have fun storming the castle.